For the next 2 Ghibli movies, we decided to choose the ones that we thought was the most popular based on, well, every time you go to a con and you see Ghibli stuff sold, what do you see first? It's gonna be Howl's Moving Castle and Annie's Choice, Princess Mononoke. I've never seen much of it at all.
You don't see much, but whenever people talk about Studio Ghibli, they always say Princess Mononoke is the best written film.
I do see it a lot, but mostly the meme.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
You're beautiful, honey. Smile more. You're beautiful.
Baby, we're both humans and you're a beautiful woman.
So welcome to FunUntitled. I think we kind of did a pseudo-Republican impersonation. Like I said, Annie thinks that Princess Mononoke is the best Ghibli film based off the fans' reactions.
And I always thought Howl's Moving Castle, because I feel like everyone always talks about Howl's Moving Castle. The fire, the cape. I never seen anything of Sophie, but I've seen like the raven wings.
I think every time you go to a con, I do feel like there's that one stupid guy who brings his stupid violin, his stupid sexy violin. He's always playing the Howl's Moving Castle theme.
I mean, obviously the one you see most is Totoro and Spirited Away, but we already did an episode on those two.
And No Face isn't as marketable as Totoro's little funny things.
Well, I mean, that's why Totoro's the mascot, right? So let's start off with Howl's Moving Castle, because...
So quick synopsis, we live in a world that's a war and a world combined. A world. Look at the little ship name. And Sophie Hatter is living her best life until Batman comes. We watch everything dubbed, by the way. And Batman's like, I'm gonna save you. Don't interact with those bitches. They're from witches. And Sophie's like, okay. I don't know who that was. And I guess, like, she's working at a hat shop run by her dad, but then her narcissistic mom took over when the dad died, and her sister gets a lot of game. Now, why am I talking so much about her family? It's because they hyped them up so much in the beginning, only for them not to really play a part.
I mean, the mom kind of betrays, but I didn't think it was necessary.
It really wasn't. And so the Wister Wastelands was like, I'm in love with that man. He's Howl, the most powerful witch. I'm going to curse you, Sophie. Like, why? I'm not sure what this plan entails. I think I like ruining people's lives. And Sophie has the age where she turns into an old woman. But if you ever see her as a young woman, no, you didn't. They had to turn her young because audience wasn't going to watch an old woman do all that shit for 90 minutes.
No Cradle Robin.
No Cradle Robin.
Grave digging.
And it's a metaphor. It's like, oh, but when she's young, that's just how Howl sees her. Hey, when Howl came back and saw Sophie young sleeping, that's weird then, if that's the explanation.
But not when she was making breakfast, no. I did not see her beautiful then.
No, not when he was literally supplying food. And so Sophie's like, I'm old now. And her voice actress as an old lady is a lot better when she was younger.
Yes.
She's a lot more and personality.
Life.
So Sophie goes to the, I guess she goes to the wastelands to look for Howl to undo the curse. And then she meets a scarecrow. It's like, what the fuck are you doing here? Don't you know there's a war going on? Ah, you can follow me.
I don't think Sophie had a choice.
And Sophie finds a castle. What did you think of the castle?
It's okay. It wasn't the fantasy I was hoping for, like in Spirited Away.
Oh yeah, I buy that. It wasn't very thought out. It's just a castle with legs powered by a fire demon.
And then the rooms change, they move, but it wasn't anything really.
So Sophie goes in, she meets the fire demon Calcifer. Do you like his voice actor, Billy Crystal?
I did like that.
Do you
The voice acting was fine. That's not my problem with Howl's.
I don't know, 'cause I only been this up because Princess Mononoke. I thought the voice acting was jank in some areas.
Real? I thought it was good.
I didn't like the main girl, Princess Mononoke.
Oh.
I thought she sounded like an old woman.
Well, to be fair, she had like very few lines.
A lot of beef jerking chewing, but... And I thought that little monk guy that betrayed them was too hot sounding.
Annie, please.
He's supposed to be a smooth talker. Moving on to Howl's Moving Castle, she becomes a living maid of a little boy named Marco for some reason.
Didn't need him at all.
Apparently his Japanese name was Marukuru. Bring back Marukuru. And he was like, oh, it was cool though when Hal was like flexing his magic at the breakfast table.
Kind of. That scene was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it was.
And they didn't even move from that spot.
I liked it when the curse like made a seal on the table and he had to undo it because it ruined his furniture.
Great.
And then a lot of shit happened in the middle, and then Ghibli Miyazaki, that's his name now, wanted to really instill us that war was bad. War never changes. And anyways, yada yada yada. Hal has a motif that he keeps running away from things, that's why his castle keeps moving. But in like the span of 10 minutes, he fell in love with Sophie and was like, I gotta stop running. This is where I fight. And turns into a bird. And think, okay, I understand you don't gotta go fully into details to appreciate a story. That's the whole suspension of disbelief. It would help a shit ton if I knew what curse Howl was under, why did he give his heart to Calcifer, and what the fuck Solomon, his teacher, wants from him.
And what is this war? Who is the war against?
The war was because the Scarecrow was missing. The one country blamed the other for the missing Scarecrow. But so when the Scarecrow turned into a prince, he's like, okay, I can finally go back to my people and stop this war.
Whose side was Howl on?
Wasn't he on both sides? That's how he had the two identities?
That's what I thought too, but they never really bring it up.
Just if you read the book, it'll make more sense.
I shouldn't have to read the book to judge this movie. That's the thing. Howl's Moving Castle makes no sense. The plot is just pure garbage. I don't get the fantasy that I got from like Spirited Away. And the characters are very unlikable, except that dog.
Okay. I was gonna argue, take out the dog and use it to write the story, give us more plot. I didn't need to see Sophie carry the dog up the stairs.
That was a long scene.
That was a long ass scene, and the Witch of the Waste turned out nasty. And that didn't make sense too, why the Witch of the Waste got redeemed in the end.
Yeah, what happened to she like she lost her memories or something?
Like Solomon took away her magic, so like it took away her her youth or something, and so she became senile.
Which then she still betrayed Howl.
Yes.
Which just never made sense.
So that's why there's no much of the Witch of the Waste.
Sure.
Waste of time.
I just can't believe it because obviously Howl's Moving Castle is one of the most beloved Ghibli movies, but it's so bad in my mind. After watching it, I was like, how can this be so beloved? Like, out of the 1 to 10, I ranked this a 4. Now, it's still pretty high just because we haven't seen all of them yet, but man, I feel like even after I watch all the Ghibli movies, even the nonsense ones, Howl's Moving Castle will probably still be the lowest because it makes no sense. There's nothing I like about it except Calcifer.
I told my coworker I hated Howl's Moving Castle, and they were like, well, that's because you don't understand the romanticism of falling in love at first sight. Like, no, I get that. This still happened way too fast. He went from, hey, Sophie, look at me, to, I'm in love with you, Sophie. Come to this flower field. Start a flower shop.
They don't talk to each other that much.
They don't. That's the thing.
Like, he's always leaving. That makes no sense.
And in the end, Calcifer's like, oh, I'm a powerful demon now, but I want to stay here at the little firework and make your little house fly.
Yeah, what was that all about?
I don't know. Well, that's it for Howl's Moving Castle, unless you want to shit on it more.
No, I really want to talk about Princess Mononoke because I think that was a fantastic movie.
You sum up that. It was really thought out compared to Howl's Moving Castle with the whole lepers and, the pig gods.
Yeah, okay, so the movie starts off with Ashitaka. He is the prince of the Meshi village people who's like this clan of Japanese people who's dying out. But as the prince, he protects the village, and he protects the village from a god that turns evil and he becomes a demon. But by defeating the god, he accidentally gets himself cursed, and he gets a black mark on his arm that will only continue to grow and eventually kill him. So the clan banishes him until he finds a cure, which I think is wild because I don't think the curse is like transmittable. You know how they used to say, don't hang out with that gay kid, you'll turn gay? Like, I don't know if that's how it works for either of those situations.
I don't know. According to Republicans, if you vote for a woman, you turn into a woman.
God damn.
Topical news. This won't make sense in like a year.
So Ashitaka leaves on his red oak. I forgot his name.
How could you?
Jaku?
Jaku. My boy. Don't worry about it. DWAI.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
That's his full
So
name.
anyway, he goes off to find a cure for his arm. I think he first finds like a village being attacked first, and he saves the village.
And you and I are just like, whoa, no one's establishing the way he's murdering these men is normal or not. No one freaking out.
And he goes to his village to buy food, and he's giving out gold, and people are like, what the fuck is this? I want money. But then a monk comes, and it's like, no, man, this gold means everything.
You know how many chicken nuggets you can buy with this? Chikobo.
And they run off
Into the sunset in love.
And then he leaves the monk. And then he goes, finds another where people are fighting each other. But this time, he decides that he's gonna save some people who fell off a cliff and ran into the river. He saves those people, and it's like, I'm gonna take you guys home. But to go home, we're gonna go through this very spiritual forest. And the injured people are like, no. And he's like, yes. So he does it anyways. So he goes in the forest, and the forest water makes them feel fantastic. Like they can do anything. Except chase the god that's in the distance. That they'll come back for. So they find their hometown, which is called Iron Town.
I gotta know what it's called in Japanese. Can't be called Iron Town. That's like living in Lazy Town in Japan.
It's probably called like Gane
Japanese people wouldn't know who Sporticus was.
Gakure.
They couldn't even say that.
What does Spartacus do anything?
Because I was saying Lazy Town.
I'm like, I don't know enough about it's a piece of cake to bake an easy cake.
We we watched that show like a religion before.
Kind of. We kind of watched it. Anyways, they come to Iron Town, and he finds out that like Lady Eboshi, the leader of the town, she came in, she takes over the town, but in a good way, where
Smash
she's
or
like
pass?
smash.
Okay.
For sure. A leader lady who buys brothel women and make them work for her instead and gives them husbands and says men can go kill themselves.
Jeez.
She kind of does. And I'm not exactly sure why she has the crippled people with her, but she puts them to work and in not like unfair conditions too. Good ways.
Making guns.
Yeah.
You know, what lepers can do. Make guns. Lady Eboshi is so funny to me because she's like, I can make guns. So women, jump on this furnace. You my flames and I'll give you guns. That's the one thing I contribute to the society. I will kill the gods with these guns I forge.
So then you get to this. This is the interesting part, right? So Ashitaka sees two sides. He sees the human sides where they're just trying to do their own thing, get iron, and make a living. However, for them to do that, they need to cut down the forest because in order to fuel the fire that creates the iron and the guns, they need to chop down wood and destroy the forest, which is upsetting the forest people or gods who just want to live their lives in nature.
Gods just wanna have fun.
So he's really trying to be a mediator between the two sides. I think at first I was a little confused why he kept swapping between the two sides, but in the end I've come to appreciate and realize that he's just a mediator who just wants everyone to coexist, because that's always has been his thing. Like, Lady Eboshi, you don't have to kill the deer god, you do not have to, ruin everything. And she's like, no, I have to, because I made a deal with the monk that you met earlier. And so Lady Eboshi and the monk have a plan to go to war with the boar people and kill the deer god. And the humans are doing pretty good, because the boars are really stupid. Oh yeah, I haven't talked about San.
I didn't want to say it because I didn't want you to feel bad that your girl sucks. She's so useless.
I will say, this movie is named after her. I don't know how important she is. I mean, I don't know if like her living with Moro and her brothers is just the coexistence that Ashitaka wants in life, which is fine.
It's funny that most people are like, Studio Ghibli is so woke with this movie. It's the first movie where the two main leads didn't fall for each other. And I'm like watching this movie like, wait, I must be thinking of a different movie because they're like gonna get it on.
Yeah, better couple than Howl and Sophie.
Oh, shots fired. Pew, 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 pew.
But not as much as Chihiro and Haku.
No, Chihiro and Haku had chemistry. It's hard to beat childhood romance.
Kind of.
I met you as a river. You were the Kohaku River? Yeah, that's what you were.
It's funny because Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke both kind of have that theme of man versus nature. Spirited Away not as much, but they do talk about how the Kohaku River got completely covered by the city, and that's why Haku couldn't remember who he was because his river is gone.
Yeah, also probably because of the contract with the lady.
I mean, sure, that too. Right, so this whole war between the gods and the people,
And the monkey gods are unnecessary.
the monkey gods are really unnecessary, but it results in that like they were able to find the deer god and they were able to kill him and behead him. I wish I knew why the monk wanted the deer god's head.
The emperor that he is working for heard the rumor if you had the deer god's head, you would be immortal. And Lady Eboshi's like, don't tell me you actually believe in that. And the monk was like, I don't, but I do believe in money.
Oh, okay. Because once they get the head, then like this slime, this ethereal thing spreads out across the forest, killing everything, trying to get his head back.
Fun fact, in My Hero Academia, Horikoshi assigned animals to all the characters. Deku got sheep, Todoroki got cat, Bakugo had chihuahua. All Might had specifically the deer from Princess Mononoke.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So imagine that deer with them human face for All Might's face.
That's so weird.
Plus Ultra.
I didn't like this whole like spiritual. I wish it was like either a real body or sludge or something.
Yeah.
Like something real. But anyway, so Ashitaka and San work together to get their head back to the deer god, and it basically resets everything. No one is in the right or wrong. It's just that the forest goes back to being a baby forest, covering the lands in greens, and then the humans are gonna restart Iron Town.
And then Ashitaka looked at his Facebook status. He was still cancelled from his village. So he's like, I guess I'm gonna work back at Irontown and rebuild it. But I'll visit you whenever I can, Princess Mononoke.
I didn't get that either. Why doesn't he just go back home? I
think he's just exiled. I think he's just dead to them.
I thought like once he got rid of the curse, it would be fine.
No, I think that's why his sister gave her most prized possession. And like he didn't say, I'll give this back. He just went, yeah, I guess bye then.
He gives that to San, and it's kind of romantic. But then nothing happened.
I thought you were gonna say something else, and I was like, we can't say that here. That's not an appropriate joke.
I'll ask you off camera what inappropriate joke you thought I was gonna say.
Yeah, did she ever use that little blade thing?
I don't think so. Right? Maybe against Lady Eboshi, but I feel like she didn't.
Did you like the part where Yaboshi, she shot the wolf Moro and it's like, oh, keep shooting, wolves still bite you after they die. Then later on when the wolf was actually dead, Moro came back to like just to bite Lady Yaboshi's arm off. I was like, oh yeah, they still bite when they die.
I did like it.
Like, no, you're teaching kids the wrong lesson. Wolves can't do that in real life.
You know the trivia I just read was that wolf god and that white boar used to be lovers.
Jeez. What? Was that in the Japanese subtext?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like from like a third official source or whatever, but that's what I was reading on the wiki and I was like, what?
Because I know in One Piece, Rayleigh and Shaky, they use Japanese terms for each other. And it's not like really like couple names or pet names, but it's just specifically that's what you call someone if that's your spouse.
Yeah, that was also weird.
So like maybe that happened in Japanese. Sometimes I think about Ghibli. Why do I keep calling him Ghibli? Why do he even name himself Ghibli? Miyazaki being like, it doesn't matter what you're watching, what you're reading, sub versus dub, you're still not gonna get all the nuances. Get fucked. Unless you know Japanese.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of obvious. It's just people really like to fight dub versus sub. When it's like, it doesn't matter, honestly. Unless you watch them both, then it helps. But yeah, you really just gotta watch Japanese.
Dub and so dub with subtitles?
Oh, I meant separately, but I guess you could together. And then watch it raw.
And then watch it raw. And you memorize the lines. And that's how you learn Japanese, everyone. How would you rank this on scale 1 to 10 then? If Howl's Moving Castle got a 4?
Okay, so I did have to rearrange my numbers, not these two right here. So I put Spirited as 9, Mononoke as 8, Totoro 7, and Howl's 4.
Yeah, Totoro was like, it's cute. Like, I don't fault it for not having a deep plot. But now that you see Princess Mononoke and Spirited Away actually have kind of a plot, you're like, Totoro, you could have done a little bit more with that TB.
Yeah, I mean, Princess Mononoke is very close to first for me. It's just that Spirited Away has the whimsy and Mononoke doesn't have it. Not as much as I would like it to have. But it definitely has, like, I feel like more depth and a better plot than Spirited Away. But Spirited Away, it's cute. It's not as intense. It's fun to watch Spirited Away again. Princess Mononoke, you gotta be in the mood to watch that again. But the animations were fantastic. The way those heads came off.
Yeah, the fight scenes was cool.
Yeah.
Now, why do you think people like Howl's Moving Castle so much? Like, do you see the appeal at the very least?
I have no idea. There's nothing I like about Howl's Moving Castle.
I think Howl's just very hot. Like, he's everyone's dream guy. He's a twink.
It's just because you don't even get that ASMR of Sophie cleaning the castle.
Not like Spirited Away, right?
Yeah, not like Spirited Away. Not like Toy Story 2. What else is there?
I think it hurt the fact that they based it off a book.
Yes. Because especially like it's a long book. So you couldn't put all the movies. Like I didn't get it. I didn't think the war was necessary. I didn't think the characters were necessary. I didn't think like nothing about how should work. And yet people love it. I mean, I don't know if it was groundbreaking of its time. It came out in 2004. There must have been better movies. Hell, Spirited Away and Mononoke was out by the time House came out. So how could House break the bank?
Wait, House came out after Spirited Away?
Yes. 3 years later.
That's amazing. I was alive when that movie came out.
You technically alive for all 3 of these movies.
Oh, shit.
So I'm just saying, like why are something so whimsical and deep like these two and then fuck up so badly with House? But it seems just as popular. Because in my mind, House is more popular than Princess Mononoke. But it makes no sense to me how that could even be possible.
This is something I wish House did. The House characters weren't as likable as Princess Mononoke.
Not at all.
Like Lady Boshi's little commander-in-chief guy was funny in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you like all the hookers.
Oh my
You like
God.
all the useless men that fell off the cliff. And like, I've known this little girl for like a minute, but I love you. Ashitaka's little sister who gave it the knife.
There's so much. There's just so much to Princess Mononoke. And House is just garbage in my mind.
It's another thing. Princess Mononoke, pollution is bad. That's the moral of the lesson. I understand. And crystal clear. In House Moving Castle, war is bad? That's the message? But like, the war really had nothing to do with the love story, so it kind of felt like two separate things.
And it wasn't a justifiable war.
Yes.
Just because your prince is missing and you blame... shut the fuck up.
And like, how? I gotta protect this house that's right here. It's like, y'all just leave. Clausifer's fine. You know, they're not gonna blow up this specific house, and if they do, I'm sure Clausifer's gonna be okay. He has your heart. He's strong, boy.
And with that, so I think the next one we're gonna watch is Kiki's Delivery, which is like our childhood favorite, and Hanyo, because I think that was the one that came out before The Boy and the Heron.
Ariadne might have came out after that, and that 3D one.
Oh yeah, okay, Ariadne. What's the 3D one?
It's the one with like Heidi and the two witches, where like it was like a Sabrina and the teenage witch situation, where it's like a young teenage witch living with two witch ants.
I don't know.
Okay, in my opinion, Ponyo is what we first watched when we were old enough to realize that Studio Ghibli is like an inspiration to many.
Maybe not that one, for example.
Maybe not. No, yeah, Ponyo wasn't the best book. So I would just say 2 films in our childhood that we really watched.
Yeah.
So join us for part 3 and put in the comments how Minty's gonna get canceled for not liking Howl's Moving Castle.